Hi, my name is Hannah Pogue. I am a game designer with a bachelor's degree in digital media, and I would like to share some of my projects with you. The first real game project I ever worked on was an independent Flash game called Arrow Ace. I was responsible for all the programming, art, and design on this game. It was also the first time I had developed a game in Flash. The game is a simple 2D platformer puzzle game where the player must navigate the hero Arrow Ace through multiple obstacles to reclaim the parts of his broken spaceship. I designed the game so that the planets and their items spawn in a random location each time, so each game is a little different. Getting different items helps the player more easily reach the other planets, so it is up to them to strategize on which item would be the most helpful. In the end, the player must defeat the alien mothership to return to the crash site and win the game. My first group game project was a 2D platformer called Serenity. The game was developed in Unity 2D, and I was responsible for the character programming, story, cutscene implementation, and music editing. Players take on the role of Nikochi and work with the sacred spirit Seren to find the 4 unities, elements controlling Nikochi's world. Nikochi is granted a new power by obtaining 1 unity after each level he completes, allowing him to throw fireballs, summon water geysers, and protect himself with the windshield. In fall of 2015, I worked on 2 large game projects with my classmates. The first was Astral Clash, a 2D arena-style fighting game centered around the zodiac signs. I worked with 11 other students on this project, and I was a co-producer and the lead designer, responsible for helping develop mechanics, overseeing design, and providing concept work. I also created a full soundtrack for the game and provided some voice work. Gameplay was unique in that the fighters were collecting stars to complete their constellations and unleash a powerful attack, and each fighter lent different strategies to the gameplay. The game is also built for 4 players to enjoy locally and provides some hectic entertainment. The other project I worked on that fall was Bounty Breaker. While a smaller project with a team of 4, our task was to take an old arcade game and reimagine it. We were given the original Donkey Kong and expanded the concept of 2D platforming to include huge monsters that occupied the whole stage and made them the center of attention. Players had to navigate perilous jumps to chip away at the monsters' weak points bit by bit to progress. I was the lead designer, level designer, and sound designer on this project, responsible for documentation, user research and analysis, level design and building, and sound creation and implementation. I created another full soundtrack for this game as well. The end product is a whimsical and fun platformer that calls to the old days of arcade games, but with a much crisper and refined look and feel. A short project I contributed to was Brian Walsh's Golf 2. Golf 2 was created as a submission prototype for the Florida Interactive Entertainment Academy, and Brian requested I develop sound and music for his game. He let me play the game and see its visuals, from which I developed an electronica-style soundscape for the game. The most recent student project I worked on was completed in April. The game, Magitech City Blitz, is a hybrid 3D platforming and racing game. Players control futuristic wizards competing for turf in a sprawling cityscape by claiming magic hotspots. The wizards skate around with hover magic at high speeds while flying far into the air to locate the hotspots with flashing and beeping trackers, all the while using magical power-ups to help themselves or hinder their opponents. I was the producer for this game and managed a team of 7 people, setting timelines and keeping a cohesive vision throughout the production process. I also built and scripted the menus, created all the sound assets, and composed an original song. The last project I have worked on is my submission for the Florida Interactive Entertainment Academy, and it is a prototype called Isimo. It is a music learning game with a simple interface and gameplay aimed at young and inexperienced musicians wanting to train their ears. I was the only person who worked on the game, creating all of the art, music, and code. Players drag the Isimo creatures into the right order so that they sing the correct tune as it is presented to them. It is a prototype, and I hope to develop the game further to add more difficult and complicated melodies, as well as more dynamic gameplay. To learn more or download some of these games, please visit my website at hannahpogue.wordpress.com. There you can also find some examples of my documentation, code samples, and some of my sound work. Thank you for viewing my projects. I hope I have more to show you in the future.